All right, everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy, and we got a story for you today. Dragon Age the Veilguard director, Corinne Busche, the dude who thinks he's a girl, recently, the director from the Veilguard, that massive turd of a game from BioWare, the Dragon Age game that failed so hard that it's already, discounted, 65% or something like that. I had 1.5 million engagements when they were expecting 3 million in sales. What the hell is an engagement? Anyway, that director has been hired by Wizards of the Coast, one of the wokest crap companies out there, for Skeleton Key Studios after leaving BioWare. You can't make this garbage up. Let's cue the music and we'll talk about it. In a move that sparked immediate controversy and proved that it's more than possible to fail upwards in the gaming world, Wizards of the Coast has reportedly hired Dragon Age the Veilguard director Corinne Busche to work at its newly formed Skeleton Key Studios. This development, first reported by Diversity in Dragons and later confirmed by YouTuber Smash JT, suggests that the Veilguard director has quietly landed a new role despite producing the most notorious bomb in BioWare's long-running RPG history. I'm not going to say go out there and harass Corinne Busche. He doesn't deserve harassment. What he does deserve, though, is to never work in gaming again. So my recommendation would be to, talk to Wizards of the Coast. Tell them how detestable Dragon Age the Veilguard was and how you don't recommend this person as a director for anything in their games, and how you won't buy anything as long as they're associated with them. You're going to boycott them, essentially. I mean, Wizards of the Coast, let's face it, they are a garbage company. They have been for quite some time. They originally were founded with I think it was Magic the Gathering back in, I think it was the 90s. I played Magic back during the revised days. Yeah, I'm that old. And, through Ice Age and several expansions and all that, I kind of got away from it. It just seemed to be putting out so many cards per year, and it just seemed like a money grab at a point where it was doing we're going to do one major expansion per year and then 3 little mini expansions underneath it, and we're going to put out a new base set every 2 years or whatever. It just seemed like they were getting so greedy. I was just like, I'm not sinking this kind of money into this. It's just ridiculous, And that's what happens. These guys do that. They get greed, But Wizards is notorious for being super woke. They ended up buying Dungeons and Dragons. I think they're owned by Hasbro overall, if I'm not mistaken. But they bought Dungeons and Dragons, and we see how that went now. Dungeons and Dragons is just like the gayest freaking game ever. It's may as well be fairies and another F word, because they removed so much stuff from it in the name of equality and DEI and all this other crap. Like, for instance, there used to races in the game used to have certain strengths and certain weaknesses, right? And it made sense in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, certain creatures would be better at certain things, wield weapons different ways. Some would have more affinity for magic. Some would have a different affinity for different things, and they took that all away. So now you can just be whatever and be just as good as whatever other race. So you can play as an orc that's a, brilliant magic user, or a high elf that's a rampaging fighter. It's stupid, It just made everything generic in the name of equality. But whatever, man. They're just so lame. So this is a perfect match, actually. But I still encourage you to write to them. Maybe they'll get cold feet and dump Corinne Busche, kick him to the curb and send him packing before anything goes, but who knows. Anyway, Busche left BioWare shortly thereafter, claiming it was a voluntary move, and we all know that wasn't true. This came just before BioWare gutted the entire studio, laying off most of the activist writers who worked under Busche on Veilguard. Yeah, that just happened. According to Smash JT, an anonymous source within Wizards of the Coast discovered Bush's name listed in the company's internal team's organizational chart, confirming the hire before any public announcement was made. Good job, JT. The source reportedly expressed great frustration over the hiring. I'm not pleased about this turn of event, the source reported to Smash. Well, hello. This is good. So we're starting to have people speak out against this stuff. The tide is turning in gaming, and it's turning at a rapid rate. We need to see more and more people step up and step out against activists like Corinne Busche. This dude does not belong in gaming, okay? Now, Corinne Busche can go work for an independent company, a little indie company, and can go make their little gay games or little tranny games or whatever, and make their little adventures like, what was it, Dustborn, stuff like that. That's fine. Work on low-budget games with small budgets that can turn a small profit and make your living like that. You want to cater to a niche audience, expect to make niche money. You know, you took a beloved franchise, Dragon Age, and I don't have a dog in a fight. I'm not a big Dragon Age fan. I could have cared less personally, but they're doing it to everything, you know, in entertainment all over the place. They're doing it. They did it to Star Wars. They destroyed Star Wars. You know, they just absolutely wrecked it with all this DEI garbage. You know, they did it with Dragon Age. They're doing it with everything, and it sucks. They did it with the Marvel Universe. They made it into the MCU. Totally trashed it. So we're tired of this kind of stuff. Normal people are tired of it. We're pushing back. We're shutting our wallets when it comes to this kind of stuff. And that's why Dragon Age failed so hard. And that's why whatever this company releases is going to fail, guaranteed, because people like me, I'm just a small voice out there. There are people that have 1,000 times more power than I do, 1,000,000 times more. They're the ones talking out too. But just because I have a small voice doesn't mean I'm not going to use it. Anyway, in the image above, we can see Corinne Busche, or the previous image, listed as part of the Skeleton Key team under the title of Game Director. Busche's departure from BioWare came shortly after the disastrous launch of the Veilguard, a game that embraced divisive gender politics and fell drastically short of expectations. Originally projected to sell over 10 million copies in its lifespan, they're expecting 3 million immediately or right off the bat. The game failed to break even 1.5 million, not sales, engagements. I'm going to clarify that there. No one ever explains what an engagement was, marking it as one of BioWare's worst performing titles. The backlash centered around a departure from the franchise's core RPG roots, with many longtime fans criticizing the game's direction as prioritizing ideological messaging over meaningful gameplay. Now, despite the controversy, Busche has now joined Skeleton Key, a studio led by former BioWare Austin head Christian Daly. Skeleton Key's first project is described as a AAA title focused on immersive gameplay and unique storytelling. That concerns have already emerged regarding the direction of the studio, though concerns have already arisen with this latest hiring decision. Smash JT questioned why Wizards of the Coast has remained silent on Busche's hiring, suggesting that the company may be attempting to avoid backlash. Busche's hiring at Skeleton Key seems to have been deliberately kept under wraps, most likely to avoid backlash from the gaming community, Smash JT noted. I hope more and more people within gaming leak this kind of information. When somebody brings a dirt bag like Corinne Busche into the fold for their company, I hope somebody out there is strong enough and brave enough to send that information out to somebody so that they can expose the garbage within that company and people can fight back. Because you know what cleanses things? Sunlight. You put this out in the sun, it cleanses it. You're just starting off a AAA project. If it starts off with a massive amount of controversy, there is a chance that Skeleton Key will change their tune, change their direction, and can Corinne Busche and go with someone else as a director. How do you create the worst RPG of all times, arguably the worst RPG of all times, and then go get hired as a director somewhere else? How do you do that? The game was an abomination. It was a trauma dump. It was all about this dude's personal journey as a tranny, coming out to his parents. It lectured you on misgendering somebody. It was insane how bad it was. It was absolutely insane. These troons, I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know what they think. You know, they want to force their ideology on you. They want to force you to bend the knee to them. And people are sick of it. I don't care how loud you scream. People are tired of it. We don't want it anymore. We don't want it in our entertainment. You want to make your own entertainment? Go for it. Have fun with it. Get it out of mine. I'm sick of it. Anyway, Wizards of the Coast has faced its own share of controversy in recent years, particularly regarding Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering, both of which have seen significant fan pushback over changes to established lore, monetization strategies, and corporate-driven policies, much of which focuses around divisive ideology. Now, with Busche joining the company, critics argue that WotC is doubling down on an approach that has already alienated much of its core audience. How do they keep doing this? It's insane. They must love throwing money away. Anyway, God Empress of Mankind says, after seeing their hiring practices, I can already tell exactly how Skeleton Key is going to fare. Hiring the one person who single-handedly torpedoed one of the most beloved RPG franchises? Brilliant strategy. I'm sure this will end great for them. It is going to tank. It's going to tank. Anyway, given the widespread criticism of the Veilguard and the perception that its failures stemmed from leadership decisions, Busche's hiring raises concerns about the future of Skeleton Key. Many in the gaming community see this as a high-risk move that could further damage the reputation of Wizards of the Coast, a company already struggling to maintain goodwill with its audience. And as this news spreads, one thing remains certain. Wizards of the Coast will not be able to keep this hiring secret for long. With the gaming industry under more scrutiny than ever, this decision will likely be watched closely by both supporters and skeptics alike. What do you guys think of all this, man? This is utterly insane. How did this person get a job? That's what I want to know. How do you hire someone like this? They sit down at your desk, you look at their resume, you look at Dragon Age the Veilguard, you watch some footage from it, you take a look at the sales numbers and how it was received, and you freaking hire them? Whoever hired this person should be canned. I'm dumbfounded. I really am. This is one of the most boneheaded moves of all time. Congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. You're about to lose a crap load of money. I hope it hurts, and I hope it destroys your company and you got to sell some stuff. I hope you got to sell D&D off. And I hope you got to, that would be nice. I hope you got to sell D&D off and somebody decent buys it and can return it to its former glory. Get it out of that woke crap state that it's in right now. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know how much you think this, whatever, man. Just leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time when I'm sure something even worse is going to happen. Until then, peace.